interrupt this broadcast.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Welcome to 6 Things, Episode 9. I'm Robb Ellis. Each week on 6 Things, we count down 6 of the strangest news stories that you may have missed during the news cycle. And so that I don't have to do all the heavy lifting, because I am under the weather, I have 2 guests to join me. My first guest, you can catch her weekdays on Z1075, 10 to 3, I'm told, Suzanne Jalot, and also our weekday evening producer, as well as our Fox Wilmington What's Trending correspondent, Nikki Bussey. Thank you both for being here again, so I don't have to do the heavy lifting. We'll go through these pretty quickly and talk about some pretty interesting stories. Let's start with thing number 6 on our countdown. A lady goes to get on a plane and, of course, is stopped by a member of the flight crew that says, "Do you have a medical pass to fly? Do you have an approved medical certificate?" She says, "No." Why? Well, he thought she was pregnant.
Yikes.
But it turns out she was not, so now she's outraged. So if you're this woman, what do you do?
First, you're embarrassed.
Yeah, she said she was really
mortified.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
She said it was completely awkward. Of course, he just said, really, oops, sorry, and then just walked away.
If I were just forget about it, because there's just one thing you should never do is if you are not sure that a person is with child, don't say anything to that person.
There's a list somewhere out there that's like, don't ask a woman her age, what she makes, and don't ask her if she's pregnant if she's looks a little heavy. You don't do that.
But there are some women that you can tell are pregnant. So how do you, if you know they're pregnant, how do you tell them that, or how do you acknowledge that they are pregnant without?
I just don't say anything.
Unless they say something about it.
I was going to say you ignore the elephant in the room, but that's not what I meant. How do you?
Why do you hate fat people?
No, I don't. She's going to totally get me in trouble on this. No, there's got to be some way to subtly kind of get to that topic.
You just avoid it. I just avoid it. That's the easiest thing to do.
Or they say something along the lines of, getting ready for the baby and they touch the belly, then you pretty much know.
Just don't ask them when the baby's due.
Just don't ask when it's due, unless they might have already had it and you're just having a hard time losing the weight. That is just a pitfall, you're gonna sink. It's quicksand. Just avoid that.
There's no way the guy could have gotten out of it. I mean, I guess he said sorry, but I don't know if it was necessarily.
And he was thinking for the baby. I'm sure.
He was looking out for the child.
But think about the people that have to do that job. They have to, make sure that someone that's with child doesn't fly, because it is a medical issue on a plane, from what I understand. So I guess they have to do their job, but is it better to be safe than sorry?
I would not want to be on a plane with a woman giving birth.
I don't think she's going to be giving birth.
Maybe you should stand up there with a checklist and ask everybody if they're pregnant. That's the safest thing to do.
Men.
Or there should be on the ticket or something.
Yeah.
Suzanne's always thinking.
There you go.
All right, let's go on to the next thing. Kind of one of my pet peeves is that one of my weaknesses here is that I love fast food. So Burger King has now been named the slowest fast food drive-thru, according to a survey that was done by QSR magazine. Now, I have a list of all the others. I am guilty of all these, although we don't have a Crystal Burger around here.
I missed that.
But the time is on the right in seconds. So just over 3 minutes at Burger King, but look at how fast Wendy's was, just over 2 minutes.
That's pretty fast, except whenever I go through the drive-thru, I always get behind the big minivan with 100 kids inside. They all want something different, and so the drive-thru, it used to be for convenience to be quick, and now it seems people that are too lazy to park and go inside.
Well, they said that drive-thru times are actually getting longer because orders are getting more complicated.
Yeah, there's so much on the menu.
Yeah, and if you order an ice cream cone and you have all these different things on there that you have to add that on there, so the meals are getting a little bit more complicated. But they also rated things like who got what order correct most of the time. Burger King got its orders correct 83% of the time. Chick-fil-A got the orders right 92, almost 93% of the time. So
fast means sloppy in this case. They may get you your food fast, but it's not your food.
Or good, but you can't have it both at the same time, I guess.
That's always the worst,
I agree with this. You and I were talking about this.
I would think so, because I don't know what it is about Burger King, but I've never, no offense to anyone who works at Burger King, because I had friends that worked there. I love Burger King food, but if I'm going to wait on something, I'll go there. If I'm in a hurry, I just avoid it.
Yeah. I noticed Arby's wasn't on that list as well, but I've noticed at least here nearby where we work, Burger King, I don't get there very often, but
Right.
McDonald's is, they're
Super quick.
okay. Yeah, they're okay. Wendy's is fast.
Yes.
I got to give it to Wendy's. You can get your burger and go. I mean, they almost know what you're going to order before you even get into the drive-thru.
Well, especially the one around the corner from here.
I know,
They are
it's-
ready to get you gone and
It's
happy.
super, super fast. Do we have a Bojangles nearby here?
There's going to be.
Is
They're
there? Are they
building
building
it.
one?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I think
One
that's
more.
Bojangles.
One more thing to interrupt the diet plans. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Number 4 on our countdown this week. Okay, I have to set this one up. This is Chris Hardwick, who now you recognize.
Yes.
We were talking about Chris Hardwick earlier. He's on Nerdist. He has a podcast called The Nerdist. Well, what he wanted to do was he wanted to get Tom Hanks to come on his podcast. So there you see Tom Hanks in front of all of his typewriters. He has a antique typewriter collection. So what he did was he sent, this is Chris Hardwick, that sent Tom Hanks a 1934 Sonoma Corona silent typewriter. Well, Tom Hanks, in his response, used the typewriter to write back this note. And he says, "Dear Chris, Ashley, and all the diabolical geniuses at the Nerdist Industries, just who do you think you are trying to bribe me with an appearance on your thing with this gift?" Of course, so he's in a rage, and he says he's not going to do it. But as he starts to type, he says, "Wow, this thing has great action and deep crimson color." So eventually, he agrees and sends out this letter and signs it himself, Tom Hanks. I know I didn't give you guys anything to come on this show. I'm glad I don't have to. I have nothing to offer.
I would take an antique typewriter.
Yeah, what would you take? What would I have to bribe you with?
That would be fine. Anything. If it's free, it's for me.
Perfume?
Cash.
Cash. See, she's
Cash.
thinking.
Cash always works.
Anytime you can get cash, $1. I'm not gonna bribe. I'm not gonna stoop to that level.
Not
have
yet.
to bribe. Yes, not yet. A couple more episodes, and I think I'll be right on that list.
You know what's interesting about this one though? Is that like there's some kind of movement with this, because I had a friend that actually just did like his wedding invitations with his wife or fiance, excuse me, and they typed them out on an old typewriter with the lines all. So there must be a movement.
Everybody's going retro.
Are
It's
they-
hip. I don't know.
Were they really typed out, or did they make it look like they were
He
typed out?
Instagrammed, of course, a picture of his beer, his wedding invitations, and his girlfriend in the distance doing something else with their dog.
Interesting.
So maybe it's a new hip thing to do. I
To
don't
do
know.
like the old style way. Who knew? You never know. All right, this one's for the nerd in me. I have to have a couple of nerdy topics in here every now and then. This is official currency from New Zealand. They're going to release commemorative Hobbit coins. Of course, the Hobbit is coming out. I don't know when it's going to be out, but it's going to be out sometime
December.
late this year.
Yeah. The first half of it. They're doing 2 halves,
Yeah,
right?
or 3 parts, or
Something.
It's going to be a series. But of course, they have all these commemorative coins. But here's the thing: these are going to be actual currency in New Zealand. Now, they're not going to be worth what you're actually going to pay for them. They're going to be worth many, many times more than the actual currency. I think there's a $10 New Zealand coin, and there's several $1 coins. But there you see, they've got Gollum, and I see Gandalf, and it's like Bilbo Baggins maybe on one of those. And
They're never going to go into circulation. They're going to be held on to. People are going to pay, an outrageous amount of money for them. They're going to hold on to them, and then in 30 years, they're still going to be worth nothing.
the nerds
Like
are
the
going to
Beanie
have.
Babies.
Yeah, the nerds are going to have all those. Yeah, Beanie Babies. Who has those Beanie Babies now, by the way? You still have
They're
your Beanie
still
Babies?
in a plastic container at my grandmother's house.
And they are worth absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Right now.
Actually, I Amazoned it, no joke, a couple of days ago by accident because I was looking for something for my dog. And I found one, it was like 18 bucks, which is more than I paid for it, but not the vast amounts that it said it was worth. So you're probably right. These are probably going to be worth like nothing.
Again, it's all on what someone will pay for it. And the nerds, they got money. Just saying.
For typewriters.
For typewriters. Yeah. So, Nikki, you and I were talking about this story a little bit earlier. I believe we had it on one of our newscasts, but I thought it was such an interesting story that, well, here's surveillance video. It's a snapshot of some surveillance video of someone breaking in to a petting zoo, and they steal the little goat. The goat is right there in the center of the screen.
Poor little guy.
But they returned the goat. Some good news. But they left their mark. They painted the goat's nails.
Not very well.
Not very well at all.
Yeah, when I read this story, I thought, oh, we got a nice pedicure. And I thought that would be, I would love to be kidnapped and then returned home with a nice pedicure. But that's not really a nice pedicure. It's more like slapping on
Slapdash.
some pink stuff.
It looks like he just kind of ran through some wet paint or
Paint.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Well, they
they
said she was drunk. which it looks like it in the paint
The
job
goat
there.
or the kidnapper?
The kidnapper grabbed the goat, painted its toenails, and returned it unharmed. They said that the woman was intoxicated.
And they said it's a very cute goat.
It
They
is
said
a
it's
It is
really
a very
sweet.
cute goat.
They say it was bottle fed for the first 6 months of its life. It's almost like a dog. It'll come to visitors when they call it. It's really sweet. It gets in your lap and gives you kisses, if you're into that from goats.
Be careful.
You want to go there, but you know it's a very cute goat, and they've got it back. No harm done. No harm, no foul. Just prettied the goat up a little bit.
Pretty in pink is what we called it last night.
Oh.
I don't even know what the goat's name was. Did it have a name? I'll have to see if I can go back and find the goat's name.
I don't remember either.
Poor little goat. He's much prettier now, though. All right, number one thing. This is, of course, sign of the times here. The economy is an issue. But here's some good news. When men purchase new underwear, it is a sign that the economy is improving. So there's actually like a men's underwear index. And I love the picture here. Weak, smelly underwear.
Right.
Strong. They're purchasing more
With the
cleaner
flies.
underwear. And they say there's all kinds of economic indicators that you can look at. This is just one of them.
I, for one, think men don't buy underwear. I'm sorry. I've lived with my guy for 9 years, and I have to beg him to throw out his old underwear. So maybe the women are buying the men's underwear, but I don't know any men that are buying the men's underwear.
We get attached to our underwear. I don't know what it is, but we will not throw them away. I do have to force myself to finally say, okay, these are done. They've done a good job. It's time to put them away. And we just don't like buying new underwear. I don't know. There's also some other indicators, and I want to show some of the list here of things that are also a sign that the economy is getting better. So when you have more of these things that are listed, it's positive indicators. In other words,
You
the
got
economy.
money to get divorced, apparently.
It costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's right.
Haircuts, plastic surgery, those are kind of vanity things, I think. Zoo visits, that's kind of recreation. But
Yeah.
people quitting, that was an interesting one, because people are, I guess, a little bit more.
Not as tied to their job.
Yeah.
Right.
And
They're-
it's easy to find another job. So.
Suzanne, you and I were talking about riding the subway. We couldn't figure
I
out
don't
that.
Yeah,
understand
that's
this
a weird
because I
one.
would think maybe taking taxis would be an indicator, but riding the subway.
Or you would buy a car as opposed to
buy a
having
car,
to ride a
I'm-
subway.
I'd like to see the what's going on behind there.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Isn't
why
it a
it's,
card that you just use for a month? I don't know, because Wilmington doesn't have like a
Obviously,
subway
we don't
system.
have any reference point here in Wilmington.
But I mean, from when I visited New York City, it was a one thing that we bought for the whole time, and we just kind
You
of
slide it, yeah.
Slide it.
And
It
all the poor folks, ride the subway while the other people take
yeah.
taxis. So.
If you got money,
Yeah.
I wanted to see what the last one on the dental visits.
well,
Boy, when times are tough.
teeth are the first thing to go.
Yeah,
Apparently,
the times are really tough. So I guess you can look at each country and see how their economy is doing by what do the British think?
Oh gosh,
I
that's
know.
awful.
I know.
Oh, you're gonna get some hate mail.
Both of the British viewers that are going to watch this are going to be so upset with me talking about that. All right, well, that's all we have on our 6 things list for this week. Thank you both. Suzanne Jalot from Z1075. You can catch her weekday mornings into the afternoon, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yay.
I got it right
Yeah,
that
you got
time.
it right.
I know. And Nikki Bussey on Fox Wilmington, also our producer for the 6:30 and 10 p.m. newscast, and, of course, on What's Trending every night. Thank you both for being here. Make sure you catch us next week for 6 more things that you may have missed.